Hi there. So Elements.Cloud is a change intelligence platform. So we're everything from idea through to DevOps. So completely complementary with Copado. And we're really around making sure that the business analysis has been done to make sure that the DevOps team are building the right thing. And if they do that, we can see an 80% reduction in rework, which clearly everybody wants. Development teams want to be building the right thing. So how do we do that? So I'm not going to talk about all the functionality, but I want to talk about the key handoff between the business analysis teams and DevOps, and that's the user story. So here is the user story, and I can see I've got several user stories, but I want to focus on this one, number 3. And you can see in the right-hand panel, I've got information about it, what level of risk it is, what roles are affected, the description. But during the business analysis phase, there was a requirements spec. There was a link there to the opportunity page. But also in Elements, you can draw architecture diagrams, Salesforce architecture diagrams. You can draw process maps. So all that business analysis is being captured, associated with this user story inside Elements. You can also say which of the metadata items we think are going to be impacted by this particular user story. So that's fine. This is all happening inside Elements. But what we really want to do is we want to actually make sure these are all inside Copado. So we're synchronizing with Copado. You could even create a Copado user story directly from Elements, and it then goes and populates Copado with that new user story. But I've already got one. So let's go across to the Copado user story. And there we are. We can see the Copado user story number 52. But that right panel that we saw inside Elements is now here inside Copado. So the development teams can now see everything that the business analysis teams had created. They can even have discussions with the business analysts. They can see the metadata items. But if you remember at the very beginning, there was this big red button that said there's a conflict. And we're also doing conflict checking. So user story number 4 is also touching these particular metadata items. So the other important thing we're doing is we're starting to give the development teams an understanding about the potential conflicts they're going to run into. And everyone's heard of shift left. So we're identifying those conflicts very early. And then the other thing we can do, obviously, when we're looking at the any of the metadata items, this one called stage, we can have some information about it, but we can now see what we call our dependency tree. So this is the analysis that we're doing for every metadata every night. Here's the field called stage. The right-hand side, we're showing you how well populated those pick list values are, lots of other information. But I can now see where else this field is being used. So it's been used in 31 flows. And then that flow is being used in another flow. So now you can start to see the implication of making some of those changes. That means that you can then allocate the right level of development resource and testing resource to a particular change. You can see that this is a complex change, but you might also, another change you may be able to understand is actually relatively simple and low risk, and therefore you can take it through a faster path, through a quicker pipeline. But without this information, your development teams have to assume that every single change is massively complex and is high risk. So this is enabling you, first of all, to build the right things, but secondly, to understand the level of resource to apply to it. So how do we do this? Well, we synchronize every org's metadata every night and build this metadata dictionary, and then we build the analysis. So we're looking at every metadata item and understand where they're all being used. And any one of these, you can open it up into more detail. You can see here this one has even a proposed item, and we even give you higher level metrics, so you can start to see the impact of changes on your org. So Elements enables you to support the entire life cycle. Elements plus Copado gives your DevOps tools superpowers so that they can make the right changes with confidence. And that means that you can then drive way faster implementations, but more importantly, reduce that rework, which is bleeding the agility out of organizations. So Elements plus Copado gives your development teams superpowers. Thank you.